Welcome to High Desert Guardian, where faith, fundamentals, and firearms come together. I'm Megan Porcher with High Desert Guardian, back on the range today with Mike. And the last time we were out here, we worked on single shot from holster and then moved on to slide lock pistol reloads. One of the things that really made a difference for Mike was fixing his grip a little bit and dialing that in. That's made a huge difference in his follow-through shots and his shot placement. So again, check that grip, make sure you have it dialed in, locked in tight. Today, we are going to move on to how do we increase our follow-through shot pace, okay? So everyone wants to be able to shoot faster. How do you do it? First thing is you have to get back to the wall, okay? So you've heard me talk about the wall a lot. The wall is the most important thing that you need to keep in your mind. So as we will show you and practice here in a bit, when you take that first shot, a lot of times you just want to take your finger right off the trigger, okay? You don't want to do that. You want to get right back to the wall so that you are ready for a follow-up shot. So whether or not you are going to take a second shot, get right back to the wall, keep it there, okay? And get that ingrained in you, okay? So you leave that pistol up, get your second sight picture, and dial that in, all right? So that is how you're gonna increase your shot speed, getting back to that wall. So we're gonna put that into practice so you can see it, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so getting back to the wall is that point of resistance you will feel after you take the slack out of your trigger. Now, depending on what kind of pistol you are using and the trigger that's on it, that can vary, okay? So some have a noticeable amount of slack, like mine, you can really see that, okay? Others have a very short, okay, amount of slack in it. But the point is to get to that point where there is a wall of resistance, okay?
Got it.
There's a stop. That is what I mean when I say get back to the wall, because from there, past that point, you can control that press, okay? You want to control that press. So when you're learning to shoot faster, it is simply a matter of learning to control that press, but speed it up, okay? So you're speeding it up a little bit more. But the first step is learning to get back to the wall quickly, okay? So that would look like this. But you'll see my finger move a little bit. So press, and then I'd be right back to it like that.
And you stay
That's
there.
what it would look like, okay? Wall, 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 wall. Okay, so for every follow-up shot, my goal was to get right back to that wall and then feel that press, okay?
Right.
And so then there's also a drill that we can do with this, which is fun if you're at the range with a friend. And that is, you're gonna have a spotter. One of you will be the spotter. You're gonna stand right beside them and you're gonna try and say wall before they can get back to the wall. So it just pushes them, and it's kind of a fun game because you can yell at them as loud as you want to make them a little bit more nervous and trade off. All right, so let's give it a try. Great. Good. Good. So you had a great grouping out there. Did you feel that that helped in any way, keeping your grouping
Yeah, well,
where it was?
you don't have to move the pistol very far if you just concentrate on just your finger. Just You know, so it's not like you're having to do a bunch of movement. You keep the gun in place, and all you're really concentrating on for me is just to move my index finger forward and back. And I know there's a substantial click when I'm coming back to the wall.
Yep, with that reset.
Yep, with the reset.
Yeah, and so just again, the emphasis is on that trigger control. So just how important that is. When your grip is locked in tight, that trigger finger should still be able to operate smoothly. So you want to make sure that the majority of your strength in your grip is coming from your support hand, so that your strong hand with your trigger finger is still able to squeeze that trigger in a very good controlled way. So oftentimes, and I've struggled with this too, if I get really, really tense and maybe I'm nervous or whatever, the first thing that goes for me is I over grip with my strong hand. And then before I know it, I'm mashing that trigger and my shots start going a little low and left, okay? They get squirrely. So having to find the balance of the proper amount of grip coming from your strong hand so that your trigger finger can still operate and not freeze up. Maybe you've gotten trigger freeze before, that's what it's from. And then having all that strength come from your support hand. It's very important, makes a big difference. So now we're going to move on to follow-up shots. So we're gonna start working doubles here. So I want Mike to start with a controlled press every time, because I still want to keep a very tight group on that paper down there, but we're going to trim out some of the press time as we bump up our speed.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So right now we're gonna start like this, okay? So we're gonna present, we're gonna feel that wall, and we're gonna press, controlled press, good shot, okay? Right back to the wall, controlled press. Right back to the wall for that third sight picture, okay?
Yep.
And then come back.
Okay.
All right, so our shots are great, they're clean, they're tight. That's what we want. So that was no problem, all right?
Okay.
It was easy peasy. So wall press, get back to the wall, third sight picture. Okay, so that was 2.62, okay, for those two shots. So we know that that felt really easy. The shots were same group, okay, same hole. Feel the wall. Right back to the wall. Okay, that was 1.59, okay? We're gonna step it up again. Back to the wall. Okay, shots, same group, that was 1.4, okay, for two shots. So you see what I'm doing here,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So with that trigger press, you know how we were counting it down in pounds of pressure? My average that I can get out of my trigger is like 5 to 6 if I really take my time, okay? So when you want to pick it up, you're just going to remove a couple of those pounds of pressure as you count. So instead of 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, you know, so on and so forth, you can go to 1, 3, 5, wall. 1, 3, 5, wall.
Yeah.
Okay? And then as you pick it up from there, you can go wall, 1, 5, wall, 1, 5, okay? And then wall, 5, wall, 5. So it's just training your trigger finger to maintain a smooth press as you pick that pace up. That's key here. Stand by at the beat. Okay? That
Okay.
was a 1.6. And I think your shots, both shots were like what? Maybe 4 inches apart?
Yep.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna try to control that to where they're more on the top of where all the bullets are.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try to go a little bit above that
So you can
last
see
one.
'em?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's try that again.
Okay.
Make sure you get a really good sight picture.
Okay.
You can be at the wall by the time this timer goes off, and then control your press, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So stand by. Good. Those were within like half an inch of each other,
Yeah.
and that was 2.02.
Okay.
All right, so that
Right.
was easy. That was
Yeah.
smooth. Okay,
Yep.
here we go.
All right.
stand by. Good, and that was 1.44. So you picked the tempo up great. Great, 1.4.
And there was
Exactly.
they were about 1.5 inches apart.
Yep, so still a really great tight group.
Yeah.
Perfect. That one was about the same. So that was a 1.48. So this time, pick it up. That tempo was, that was your tempo. 1, 2.
Yeah.
So let's pick it up to 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
See if you can do that
Okay.
tempo. Stand by. Perfect, and that was a 1, 2, 9. So this time go 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, stand by. That was a 1, 3, 4, so a little bit slower. But your groupings are super tight, so you can push it a little bit more. One more time,
Okay.
and we'll do 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay, shot, shot. Wall every time though. Stand by. Good, 1.12. And your shots were killer.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay, so now let's move on to transitioning, okay? So as we train to transition, I want you to put into practice the same thing that we just worked on, which is getting back to the wall, okay? Starting off, we're just gonna do this single shot each transition, okay? But feel that wall every single time, okay? Control your press. And as you get more confident and if your shots are great, then like I said before, then you pick that tempo up, okay? So the most important thing when you are training to transition is that you need to lead with your eyes, okay? So leading with your eyes is very important. Don't get focused on your red dot. If you have a red dot, that's gonna end up tripping you up, okay? You need to be target focused. So what I mean by that is when you present, send off a shot, okay? As soon as that shot goes off, your eyes should already be transitioning over to your next target, okay? And as you do that, you allow your hands to come over with that recoil and just settle right down on your target, okay? So if you have a good grip, all right, it shouldn't be doing this,
Yeah.
okay? You should have it out there solid. Gun goes bang, you're looking, your hands are already transitioning. Your hands are just following your eyes, okay? So one thing I do with my students, if they're having trouble with this and acquiring their sight picture, is I'll say, you know what? You know, point to that point over there for me, okay? To that target. And they're like, right there. And I said, is your finger right exactly where you wanted it to be? And they're like, yeah. It's the same thing with your pistol, okay? You are just pointing with that pistol, okay? Yeah, and make sure as you do it, because I saw this motion a little bit, just as you were doing it now. Yep, don't bring it back.
Got it.
Keep it out there, okay?
Yeah.
Drive it
Less
forward,
movement.
Okay? Both shots A zone. Great. Okay, so go right to left.
Okay.
Were you able to transition with your eyes first? Do you know?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'll let you know in a minute.
So I was gonna say, so if you're not sure, dial it back even more.
Yeah.
Just so you can focus on doing that. So shot, eyes, okay, as your hands are following your eyes, okay?
That I did.
Good. And your shots are even better.
Yeah.
Okay, so again. Excellent, same hole on that second one. Now you're slow, your finger right here, I can tell,
Yeah.
is slow to release that trigger when you knew that you were done shooting. Instead of getting right back to the wall,
Okay.
it kind
I
of
need to speed that up.
slowly released. So I want you to get right back to that wall,
Okay.
pretending that you are going to do a follow-up shot, okay, a third shot.
Oh yeah.
And keep your gun up. Yep, so don't bring your gun back because you're wanting to bring it back after that shot. Keep it up there. Wall, 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 wall. So hold it up. Wall, wall. So you're still wanting to drop your gun.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I don't know if
It's just practice probably, you know,
Yeah.
you're just used to it. And you know, like, well, your brain's saying, well, we're done shooting.
Yeah.
You know, you're wanting to put it down.
Yeah.
But try to train that out. Keep that gun up, okay?
Yeah.
And this is so that if you ever found yourself in an intense situation,
Yeah.
you want to keep that gun up there even after the threat is down.
Gone. Yeah.
You want to keep it up there and scan. You want to make sure that there's nothing else out there that you're going to have to deal with.
Right.
So that's why we want to train for that, okay?
Okay.
Wall, wall, wall. Hold it up. Now I want to throw in a scan. So I'll start with 2 shots, okay?
Yeah.
So I want to feel the wall, 1, okay? And I come right back to that target. My finger's at the wall,
Yeah.
okay? And then I stop, all right? Keep it up. You can even scan, okay?
Yeah.
Like that, all right? Okay?
Yeah.
So it's just training yourself to not let that gun go down until you know you are finished. Good. So it's going to be 1, 1, 1,
Okay.
back to the wall, and I want you to scan.
All right.
Okay? Now, one more thing I'm noticing is you have a tendency to raise your head when you're scanning. Don't raise your head.
Okay.
So you're
Stay
breaking-
in.
Yeah, you stay locked in on that target. Don't move your head because I'm seeing you lift your head
Okay.
a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
Good.
Better?
Yep, that was better. All right, so that wraps it up for today. Mike did an excellent job, made a big difference in his shooting. We covered the importance of getting back to the wall and then target transitions. So I hope you found this as helpful as he did. Get out there, train, learn it, own it.